Hello and welcome to Greek vs. Pub. This episode is going to be available on YouTube and Spotify. Tonight, we'll be discussing our current thoughts on CIG's marketing tactics and how it affects gameplay in Arena Commander and the Persistent Universe. Whether or not we're talking about PvE, solo gameplay, PvP, all of it, is kind of in the same boat, right? Elder, you got like a little short there. What happened?
Well, I figured that
posture.
we wanted to give you more presence. My posture's up, actually. My posture's actually high. It's
Yeah.
I do have to set
no.
it high. All right, hold on. Let me just get high. I mean, get higher on the screen. I meant
Get high. Nice. It'll be like Joe Rogan at that point, right? We're like Elon Musk.
I know, right? Yeah, right.
Popping it. Yeah.
All right, let me see if I can do this.
I'll let you. Whoa.
Done.
Hey, it looks good. There you go. Perfect. All right.
Oh, my head's kind of big.
Where's Itachi? Itachi was he was let go.
Yeah, he. Wait, what?
No, Itachi's on a job right now, so he wasn't able to join. Peter Blink, welcome on in. Doom, nice to see you. Bloody Glavness, Kitty Cartel, everybody that popped over. Thanks for hanging out in the last stream. We're going to talk about, again, this episode is going to be called Cannons and Cash Grabs. What that means is we're talking about CIG's current marketing campaigns and how it affects gameplay. So the first question is, does it feel like gameplay is affected too much by CIG's newest ship sales and marketing tactics?
I mean, realistically, we're going to be talking about everything that's always on everyone's mind, right? So yeah when talking about that, ship sales and tactics, I'm going to read this again. Hold on, let me read it again. Tonight we'll be discussing our current thoughts on CIG's marketing tactics. Does it feel like, you know what?
Has that been on your? That's been on your thoughts too, right? Has that been on your mind?
I think it's on everyone's thoughts, honestly. I think we were always thinking about that because realistically, and I'm sure everybody can really relate to this, but how many times has CIG released a new ship and it's like way OP and everybody rushes to buy it, right?
Let's go into the history of that, actually. The first one that immediately comes to mind is the Ares series with the size 7. Remember when that first came in, the Ion was pretty much like a sniper, and it could one-shot like fighters. Remember that ship?
Oh, the Ion?
Or was the Ion, yeah. Was that before your time?
It might have been. So I do remember when the not the Ion, the other one. Come on, what's the one with the Gatlin there or whatever?
The Fade? No, the Inferno.
The Inferno. I remember seeing the Inferno. Like, so I came around. Elder, let it rip. I want to hear some forecasts. Oh, really? I don't know what that means. Well, there's going to be some rain tonight. No. So
no idea.
I do remember I came in around Jumptown 2.0, right? I came like right before that, and I remember looking up in the sky when I was on the ground doing like sniping stuff and things like that in Jumptown 2.0, and I remember always seeing the ballistics from the Inferno. And that was just, it was ridiculous, right? Because he used to maneuver like a light fighter, if I remember correctly, right? Yeah. I didn't know that the Inferno was like that too. I mean, the Inferno, I'm sorry, the Ion. I didn't know the Ion was like that also. I'm assuming
it was for a little while too, and it had like decent. That was so. What they adjusted was the spread was all over the place, as opposed to like just being very accurate. The accuracy was just way off. Arcane, welcome on in. Stiletto, nice to see you as well. I was going to say that was the first thing that comes to mind is that ship and how it just they nerfed it into the ground immediately, like after it was off the store. And I know a lot of people complained about it. It left a bad taste in a few people's mouths, right?
Yeah, so. I mean, that's the thing I always wonder about is like how it's like there isn't they don't have a way to be able to judge how the ship should start off, because I have a hard time believing it's an accident that it's just like these ships are just coming out being like way OP like that. But it's not. It can't be an accident. I'm sorry. I hate to say it, but it feels to me like it's somewhat of a marketing tactic and a useful one, right? It works.
Yeah.
So that makes me think of the Scorpius.
The Scorpius is a great example as well, where it was nerfed into the ground, then it was like brought up. The question is, are the devs intentionally trying to like just do like weird numbers because they can they're trying to like find the right values for combat, or is it because they're OP for what is kind of known as like intentional power creep. At the beginning of a ship sale, you'll see a very like overpowered ship on the market, and then immediately after its like sales are done, it'll fall flat shortly after. Like it'll be changed and nobody wants to buy it, right?
But that's after they
I
already
can
got the
think of
sales on it.
exactly. Do you remember the F8C? That's another damn good example. Last fall, we saw the F8C before they fixed the bubble shield, right? It was one of the only ships that you would see up in the air. They had this FOMO marketing like campaign with it. You, do you have
Well,
something you want to
I
say?
mean, yeah, let's just jump on the F8C. I know that we've discussed this in passing, right? But the FAC is a
Yep.
perfect example. Um, okay, so we all understand the funding model and how this game continues to be developed, right? And that they need
Yep.
the continuous flow of money coming in and all this, right? Because it has the largest scope of what any game could possibly have, right? I
Mm-hmm.
understand that. But
100%.
the
Yeah.
FAC, I'm pretty sure it's Doomed. Doom's in the chat, right? Doomed. I'm pretty sure
Yep.
it was Doomed, where we were looking for the ticket. It might have been Doomed. Maybe it was Nyx. I forget. We were looking for the golden ticket because they decided they were going to release it, but you had to find a ticket, the golden
Yep.
ticket, and it was literally the first box he
The
looted.
first container, right?
Yes, had a
Yeah, I
golden
remember
ticket.
you
Well,
guys
you
talking
were
about
there
this.
for that,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, I was part of Grim at that point. I think it was just starting in actually.
Yeah, first. So it was like everybody was looking for tickets, but like you look no further than the first bunker you go to, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know if there was a bug. I don't remember if they said there was some sort of bug where there was too many tickets or something. I wouldn't be surprised
Mm-hmm.
though. You know what I mean? But it's like, that's interesting. On top of that, so I guess is it the FAA that they promised wouldn't be sold, and it was only until the game release or something. What was the promise
No,
here?
so okay, the promise was before that had released and it was this whole debacle. It was only available to which rank of
Concierge?
concierge?
Yeah,
Is it the highest one that I can think of, like the 15K one maybe?
I don't know.
Legatus?
Yeah, I don't
I don't
know.
remember.
15K.
15K,
Okay.
15K one though. Scarred
All right.
Citizen, welcome on in, by the way. So that really left a bad taste in some people's mouths because it was exclusive, and then suddenly CIG shifts it over.
Well, they found a
And
loophole, right? So they were like, well,
what
it's the
was the loophole?
F8C.
The F8C, not the.
It
I
wasn't
thought it was
supposed to be the
F8.
F8. So the FAC is the one they sold, right? And it
Yep.
wasn't the FAC they promised to the 15K or higher or whatever, right? Is that what it is? Hey, I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong, but from my
I think it's the
understanding,
F8C Executive Edition was the difference. I think it's the same ship.
oh,
It's
is that
just
what
a
it was?
skin. I think it's just a skin. Yeah. So yeah,
Oh, okay.
there. Bearder Bling said it as well.
So
So
and they just dropped that on everyone. They just dropped it on everyone out of nowhere, and knowing it
Yep.
was I mean, if you looked at the sales during that time, and I remember somebody showing me this. I think it was Dietrich, in fact, showed me the sales. Yeah, they just skyrocketed. Right, everybody went crazy.
yeah,
10K
people.
was ship and skin, and 15K is skin.
It
So
was the only ship that
it
you would
was
see
Dietrich.
in the air for a long time. Do you remember that? It's the same issue that we're seeing with the F7A Mark II. Is it a coincidence? No, not at all.
I will say this
It's power
though.
creep.
I will say
Yeah.
this though. With the FAC, when they released it, it was very powerful, but it wasn't as ridiculous. Like it wasn't a
Yeah.
fighter that flew like a light fighter. So like I
Right.
was at least in the old flight model, right? Well, now even I was able to still get on its pitch and get on its tail and fight it like that. Like, but it did have ridiculous amount of firepower, which it didn't change. Right? You get in front of that thing, you're hurting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was definitely one of those where it was like, we
You know-
need money, we need it now. Here's a good idea. Go ahead.
The one thing I miss about that was being able to kill it with the Razor LX. That was fun.
Took a long time though.
It took a long
Two
ass
size
fucking time, but
twos,
it was hilarious. They would like, go mock Jesus in one direction because they were so scared of like being killed by a little small snub at that point. That was always
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
But that's the first example I can really think of. I know there's previous ones that really come to mind, but that's kind of fresh in our heads, I feel. And I think we're kind of seeing that now with the F7A Mark II, where these dynamic events that they're having in game are based around marketing. It's what they've done with like Jump
Yeah.
Town and Siege of Orison, and it's just this rotation of sales like a used car salesman, you know?
Wait. So what's the relation between dynamic events and the F7A? Oh, you're talking about because of the Xeno threat overdrive
Xenothreat,
missions.
yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
Because you were able to complete that even if you didn't even buy the F7C Mach 2, right? Is that what it was? Or something? It's the
I don't
F7.
remember.
It's the F7C, and you get the F7A upgrade by completing the
upgrade,
overdrive
yeah.
missions.
The upgrade idea, I actually really like the idea of upgrading a ship by doing an event. That's fine.
Yeah.
But the issue is that it's current, like we have master modes, everything's super slowed down. The Hornet tunings are just completely out of touch, I feel. Like you look at the Hornet tracker, the Mark 1 series, we'll touch about that later, how they like tune that, but it feels like it's too much. You can't really contend against it in the air. And
Well,
everybody's
no,
just
because
flying
it's
F7As, right?
it moves too well. Like it moves too well. I understand that it doesn't have the pitch and yaw, but with the state of master modes and the firepower on the F7A, plus you have the bug of the side strafe. It's like you hit like a 30G side strafe. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's, you know, light fighters have been rendered completely useless. Yeah, it just, and on top of that, it's like, so being in a light fighter, if you're up in front of yes, you can outmaneuver them positionally, but you really can't because the person only has to side strafe opposite the pip, or they can back strafe out of it, and you're pushing into them and you're just looking at them and you're pretty much dead. So, hey, what's going on, Expat? Welcome.
Hey, Expat. I'm going to get a shout out for Expat. Hang on a second. Expat, thanks for the raid. Holy shit. 227 people. Guys, welcome on in. Yes,
we still don't have any celebration for it. Oh, my goodness. 227 people. Thank you so much. So
thank you so much for coming in, guys. Welcome on in. We're Griefers Pub.
Yeah, give them an update on what we were discussing here.
So we're discussing, you guys will probably find this one interesting, F7A, the marketing tactics of CIG. We are kind of how it like waxes and wanes with every new ship sale and how that affects gameplay. And really that's the best way I can put it without sounding really mean. I don't know.
No, he's saying, what do you mean the side shirts aren't ridiculous at all?
They
totally makes sense that you can
not at all.
Strafe faster sideways and forwards.
Chat to Chaos, welcome on in. Marmbo, I don't know if I missed anybody, but guys, welcome on in. We are discussing that though. So we were talking about the F7A, the current sale, and the intentional power creep and how it affects gameplay. If you're flying any other ship like that isn't like say an Interceptor or the F7A or like the current Hornet series, you're going to get pretty much almost immediately shot down and outmaneuvered.
Hold on. Can I just jump on that? Right? Chat do chaos. Meta equals Talon. I just got to say, I always love the Talon.
I like the Talon. I like that the Talon is actually relevant now.
Yeah.
Again,
so for a light fighter, right? It's like one of the strongest light fighters now, I'd say. I know that the Buck is up there because of its ability to push through and drop DPS, but the Talon is a very good face-to-face light fighter. I always loved the Talon. I couldn't wait to buy it. I bought it from like Star Hanger or whatever, and then like a week later, Alien Week was out. But I love the Talon, so yeah, I agree.
But by all means, guys, go check out Expat. She was actually in the PvP tournament for kids. Chat2 Chaos won the tournament last night. That's really cool. That's awesome that you guys are doing that. That was part of the AVS.
Did you win you won the tournament last night? Really?
Chat2 Chaos won it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool. I didn't actually watch the tournament. I didn't even know. I don't know how I missed it. How did I miss it? Like, I know that last night it was on. I heard, work. Yeah, that doesn't help. But still, congratulations.
Right. So, back on topic. I'm sorry. I'm going to get us back on track. Again, thank you very much for the raid. We're a Griefers Pub. We are a PvP podcast. We don't actually grief, right?
Yeah, no, we don't grief, okay?
Yeah, totally legal, PvP. Lawful as can
it's meant to mock the idea that if you're a PvPer, you're automatically dubbed a griefer. So that's the joke there.
Insulty and Nebel won a match to everyone's surprise. That's awesome though. I'm glad that you guys did that. Okay. So we're gonna discuss next the removal of the F7C Mark II from the upcoming in-game and pledge stores. What are your thoughts on that, Elder?
Well,
And we could even discuss like the flight tunings. Like, do you think that's an accident that all of a sudden the Hornet Tracker has what 35G
upstrafe,
for
yeah.
upstrafe?
If I'm being real, I really think that that is strange. What's the chances that not only the tracker was put in incorrectly, but also the
We're gonna put on
F7A
the
side
tinfoil hat for
trace?
this one. I know. But
Yeah, I mean that does feel
it's
awfully
just unusual,
coincidental.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, now you got me thinking. Well, because I do know that CIG has had, I think, a past of putting in a decimal in the wrong point, maybe is what's happening, or something like that, or comma, or whatever it may be. But
Mm-hmm.
it is awfully coincidental that you got two Hornet series. I mean, they're different ships that both,
Yeah.
have that bug, but in different strafing, side strafe
Does
or
it feel
upstrafe.
like they're creating like an artificial what would you call it? Artificial there's a word for it. Scarcity for FOMO? Does it feel kind of predatory? Is
I don't
that
know about that.
that's
That
maybe
doesn't
not
make
the best way to put it?
they,
Artificial scarcity?
well.
Does it feel like artificial scarcity?
Well,
I think it kind of does, but that's my that's my 2 cents. You can have your own view on that, but that's how I'm feeling right now.
yeah, but
Just from like an outsider
okay, but wait a
standpoint,
minute. Wait, hold on.
yeah,
When did the F7 the Mach 2, when did that come out to sell, and when did they stop selling it? They're not still selling it, right?
they're not selling it right now anymore.
Okay.
They stopped selling it after Invictus, and during
Oh, really?
Invictus, they launched the Mark II. Here, can I actually send you? I want to show you this together. I need to
I could
share
put it
screen,
on
so
the
just give me
the review.
yeah,
Yeah, share your
that's what I was
screen and
thinking. Just
I'll
give me a
push it through.
second, and we can do that.
FOMO never. FOMO.
FOMO
I'm
never,
just
never,
gonna say.
never. Of course not. Nope, not CIG.
It raises the
But
skill ceiling for only that ship, in my opinion. Right? I mean, that's yeah.
kind of feels like it.
You can wiggle.
All right,
You can wiggle in it.
I've got it up. If you, oh wait, I have to. How do I share again?
Just a little computer screen, the share
Share.
screen thing, yeah. And I'll push it
It's like
through.
the Elder Scrolls Online, right? Except it's not you.
I feel offended by you bringing up Elder. Never mind.
Okay, I've got it up. If you are ready to grab that. So this is from the
share the stream, and hopefully
it's gonna be a little off. Yeah,
not bad.
So it's a little off just because of my my screen size. I can fix that, but here's what it is. A legacy of service, bid farewell to a true legend. So what it's saying is it's being decommissioned, or just like it's being set into retirement, right? And suddenly we have all of these, indicators that it's not just going to be the Mark 1, but like the other like variants are all going with it. So the Tracker, the Ghost, and what was the last one? I never remember what the last one's called.
The Tracker, the Ghost, and
I can just bring it up.
Yeah.
Tracker, Hornet. So we have here. This is it.
Oh, the Super
This
Hornet.
is what the Super Hornet. There it is. This has like the Wildfire. All of those like variants are in there, and it just feels kind of last chance. Buy now. Wink, wink, wink. Gray market buyers.
Wait a minute. Okay.
Now.
So that's what I was confused about, because so what they're doing is they're saying this is your last chance to ever own these, and it's going to be taken off the market for good.
They're going to take it off the market from the store on the pledge store. And then also in game, you will not be able to buy like a Hornet Ghost or any other Hornet variant in game. They are creating artificial scarcity. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, which is all of this has artificial scarcity at all times, because it's JPEGs that they can flood the market with if they wanted to, and sell them for $2 a pop.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what feels kind of it feels borderline predatory.
That's a good question. He asked if you can keep it in the buybacks. Probably.
You can keep them in the buybacks, yes. Yeah. But we don't know what the prices are going to look like in the future. That's always a question up in the air.
Wait. And then,
hold on. Yeah. What's up?
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep cutting you off. No, they are saying that this is your last chance to purchase it. It also says there will be other ways to get it. Well, what other ways? In game?
Or what? Probably in game via dynamic events or ship sales. That would be my guess. During ship sales, during dynamic events, I just don't know what else. Increased price as well. Yep, that's what I understood as well.
Yeah, an increased price.
So,
Yeah, so they're gonna all become Mach 2s. So
yeah.
it's gonna
So
be.
here
I
are
mean,
the like multiple variants. The Mark
yeah.
ones, like they're still going to update, is what they said, but they're not going to sell it on the Pledge Store. I think at some point this might happen with the entire Pledge Store. I kind of hope it does, and then we start seeing all those ships removed, and then you have to buy them only in game. That's ideally what I would like to see.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
say they don't
So
have a reason to like fund the game anymore. They are set, you know.
how do you buy
You
the
can still buy it. You can
F7A
still buy
Mach
it right
1
now,
then?
but you cannot buy it after this ship sale is done. That's what they're trying to say. There's no announced date on like when that's going to be. They want to keep you in the dark as much as possible. It feels like, so you are more inclined to make a, how would you say it, impulsive choice to like pick it up. You know,
I would love to see
Y-
a Mach 2 Hornet Ghost. I'm sorry, Ghost. I like the
you
Ghost. I like that
come
it's
here, come here,
stealth, but
come here.
it's like
Okay, hey,
powerful. What?
enhance, 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 enhance.
Enhance.
So it says,
Holy
oh
crap.
shit, too much.
That's
Too
enhanced.
much. That was enhanced. So there is a part that actually mentions that the all other variants, it says it right here. I posted this in Discord. Rocco made fun of me for it. Anvil Aerospace can confirm that Mark II editions of the formidable F7C Super Hornet Ghost tracker will be introduced in the not too distant future. Got questions?
I mean, it
So we're
needed
going
to
to
be
see a Mark II
updated.
variant of everything.
It did have to be
Yeah,
updated
they
though.
did.
I understand that.
100%.
But artificial scarcity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like buy these, your last chance to buy to own them in your hangar, probably, right? Is that what it is? And then
That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
what that also
Fearless
does
one
is
of the Pledge
creates a
Store.
little market in Star Hangar
Uh-huh.
because it's like
It
you
does,
can't buy it
yeah.
unless you know what I mean. So I almost
Go
want to buy
to-
one now.
Don't do it.
It's not too late, is it?
Is that how effective their marketing is? Is that like even talking about it? It's like you're talking about something that's disgustingly unhealthy for you, and then just like, no,
No, I only want to buy it so I can resell it on Star. Is that illegal? I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. I don't do that.
no, it's not illegal.
I haven't done
It's
that.
not against
Is that
TOS.
cool? All right, good.
You can
Wow,
do that,
they're
yeah.
so they
Here it
okay,
is.
cool.
War bond only though. You can't pick it up in like another format. It is war bond only.
Yeah, that's.
Did it work? I don't know. Probably. But you have.
I mean, the new ones are better
120
looking anyway.
They are 100%. I don't disagree.
Yeah, the Mach 2 definitely looks better in my personal opinion. That one, I mean, they kind of look silly in a lot of ways. I mean, they're cool.
Mhm.
I enjoyed the Ghost. But yeah, I like that. I like how they redesigned it. Some people don't like it though. Some people don't even like how the new one looks.
I'm a huge fan actually. So we're gonna move on. Let's talk about the next thing that's kind of on our topic. Let's see. Do you want to do Firebird or Ursa Medevac?
Fucking the Nursa.
Nursa?
Oh,
Should we
yeah.
talk about the Nursa? We should.
No,
talk about
no,
the
just
Nursa.
go. Yeah, no, go right in. Go right in order there. We're gonna talk about the Firebird. That works.
We're gonna talk about the Firebird. All right. So what do we know about the Firebird? Why is it such a like? Why do people want to buy the Firebird? What is
Because they
it
love
based
missile
on that is
spamming in a broken server.
What's scarce about it? What does it look like? A certain Raven that cannot be bought anywhere else, right? It looks
Oh,
like
you're
the
just
Super
trying
Raven.
to. So you point out the lure of it is because
It
it's
has
like
the
the
cool
closest you can
factor,
get
yep.
to being the Raven.
So you have the way to like kind of get some. The engine noise is amazing. I don't disagree. It is well done. They did
I
a
haven't
decent
heard
job
it.
aside from the shadows. Shadows still have like holes in them. They're not supposed to.
Oh yeah, I
that's a
saw
modeling
that.
issue.
Yeah,
saw
it
that?
still
Yeah.
has the which is it shows a little bit of laziness on CG's part, right? Because
A
basically
little
what
bit.
they
It's
did
like a
was they
copy and
said,
paste.
yeah, they copy and
Mhm.
pasted, so it's programmed to react like the Saber Raven, and that's why the
Mhm.
Shadow still has those holes in it. And,
Bring it up,
whatever.
but here, so again, Expat brought it up really well. Yes, it shows 12 missiles here. Guess what they're upping it to? 24. 24
24, and you can shoot
size
6 at a
3,
time, right?
6 at a time.
It's crazy.
And guess what they're also doing? They're reducing the signature from 20% to 40%. So it's going to be on par with the standard Saber.
Which makes
So
sense.
you have a missile boat. You have a missile boat that has
No.
a small signature, and you can just missile spam even
People
easier.
aren't going to even know where it's coming from. But
Exactly.
okay, I don't have an issue with it. The issue I have is with stability of the servers. If the servers were
Hmm.
more stable, there would be more
It wouldn't be an
effective
issue.
ways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because it would be more fair. But like right now, what's happening is I think, as most of us know, we get into a server where the server's starting to degrade and the
Yep.
tracking's terrible. Right? There's like a desync with your decoys, and the server doesn't pick it up or something, and you're dropping decoys and it doesn't drop one single missile. Right? I mean,
Hmm.
so that's my biggest problem is, if you want a missile boat, fine. You got missile boats out there anyway. Thank you for the
Don't
follow,
forget the
2010
1400
and J Gun.
yeah,
What's that?
speed as well. Don't forget about the 1400 nap speed.
It has
It's
a
fast as fuck.
1400 nav speed.
Uh-huh. Why? I don't know.
Wow.
It kind of feels like it's supposed to be an interceptor role more than anything
Yeah,
else,
it is.
but I
That
know
is like
that's not
very
right.
interceptor-ish. But
Same with
you got
like
to
the
remember
standard
too that
saber.
if you're in nav
Yeah.
mode, you're not hiding your signature. Like, people know you're
Right,
there.
right.
Probably up to
Okay,
like 9
so
or 10 clicks.
this ship doesn't bother me as much. This one feels like it actually has some roles as a support ship, and it actually does pretty well. It's, I don't know, the 6 at a time feels like it's a little much for the missile pods on the bottom, but
Yeah,
it feels like it's supposed to be like a direct competitor to a Shrike, at that point. So it kind of
yeah,
it
it
fits
does.
in,
But the Shrike can only shoot off 4 missiles at a time.
right?
And
So that makes
how many does a Shrike carry?
oh Shrike. If
Is this
you, it depends on if you just set, you can set them all because they have hard points. You can set them all to size ones.
24 is what the stock is though?
Stock
So,
is 24. You
okay.
can get up to about I think 48.
And those are size threes, aren't they?
Right? I don't know. I
I
don't
think they're size
ever fly.
threes. I'm pretty sure. I mean,
That's not. That's what kind of like imbalances could that possibly happen? I'm just saying. So,
I mean, personally, I wouldn't
um,
want to shoot off 6 missiles at once anyway. I guess depending on the size of the ship.
true.
But I'm thinking from a light and medium ship perspective. So I guess if you're in a larger ship, you want to hit with as many as possible at once.
Can we go
Right?
into the? Let's go back to the window. Can we go back to media? I want to
Yeah,
show
of
you
course.
the next one. The Ursa Medevac to the rescue. You know, when I first saw this, I was excited about it, but then they made some changes. Do you remember what changes they made? Holy shit, that's loud. Sorry.
That's not loud for
Probably
us.
thinking I'm a
Oh,
goner.
it's not loud for you? Okay, good.
No.
So this guy, I've done this to people, by the way. This is a lot of fun. You can like throw people into the fire pits and make them slowly die. It's a good time. But here's the marketing like
But the
promise.
thing is, I've died a
You can just
thousand
respawn.
times. Because of regen
Over and
has
over again.
always been the strategy. Let's do this.
Okay. We don't have to watch the rest of it. But the promise that they're doing right here for the marketing is that you can just respawn anytime you want, no problem. That is how the
Yeah.
Ursa rover works.
Yeah.
And I remember this was during the same time that we heard a little bit of like backlash about the changes that they made to the medical systems as well.
Yeah.
Where instead of using tier 1 beds, you could just use the tier 2, tier 3, whatever. What is this one? Is this tier 2 or tier 3? I don't know medical, so what can I say? Cuddy
Yeah,
Red,
we're both pretty clueless on medical. You
Mhm.
can feel free to jump in and help us with that.
if you guys, so I remember
Tier 3,
that the
thank
Cuddy
you.
Red you could respawn until 3.15, and now it's back just for sales. That's my personal like thought, is that they changed it so they could sell the Nurse Rover. It is kind of handy for like expats actually saying, I mean, for now in this jank world where you die for no reason, most of the time it's good, for later, maybe a big mistake. Exactly. But it does kind of feel like they're doubling back on their like vision
Well, hold on
for
though.
Star Citizen as a
I
whole.
don't
you
necessarily
think?
agree with that. So she says maybe a big mistake for later, well, being able to respawn like that. But here's the thing: is that with the true death of a spaceman plan, right? Is
Yep.
you are only able to, and this is lore, right? You're only able to have so many clones because you have this like genetic degradation, right? So also death is still a big deal because you lose certain attributes and stuff like that. But you get to a point where you can't respawn anymore without starting fresh, and you lose those attributes. So I mean, in the future, people aren't going to want to die because these things are going to take pretty seriously, I think.
Hey, by the way, can I make a note? Peter Blink mentioned here, I'm going to close this out for just a minute. The like cargo haulers, they could use it. Here, I'm just going to highlight this. Uh, can use it to sacrifice few SEU on for an Ursa to negate the danger of getting hijacked, getting on board. I have not once seen a person have an Ursa rover on their ship using that tactic. I'm a little surprised by it.
No.
Not yet. It's a great idea, though. It's a great idea. I'm just a little surprised that no one's like utilized it yet. But I'm sorry.
Not yet. Not
yet.
yet.
Not yet. Not yet. Not until they watch this podcast. There you go. Oh, Peter Blink has seen it though.
I do want to backtrack on something here though, because I thought this was a good question. So Doomed, and I pinned it. Doomed asked, what are your thoughts on the fact that you can charge EMP and nav, then nav drop? Oh, damn it. This popped up. And then nav drop on people. I don't know, feels a little weird to me. I feel like on the horizon, we may get another EMP ship that will be really OP and people will just nav drop EMP bomb. But you can't charge it. You can't start the charge while you're in nav mode. Is that true?
I don't know.
I believe you can't start the charge when you're in nav mode. You have to be out of nav mode to start the charge, but it will continue charging.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you can, if I remember correctly, I don't believe you can actually, I think you have to drop out of nav mode to make it go off. Oh, you can start. You have to start an SCM. Yeah. Okay. So EMPs are hard to use at the moment, so it feels pretty fair. I think being in a ship like that, being able to EMP, only be able to charge and use EMP while in SCM.
There we go.
I think it's unfair because it's a squishy ship. Mm-hmm. But I think, I don't know, I kind of think it's okay like that. I think if you use it appropriately, because what happens is when you go into nav mode, if you're not using the ship appropriately, you're also very, you're very, what's the word I'm looking for? Vulnerable. Thank you. You're very vulnerable to dying because now you don't have any shields, right? So you have no real defense at all. So you're in nav mode and you're getting ready to use EMP. You can also die very easily. So there's risk there. I'm not against it. I think it's okay where it's at. I think it can be used appropriately, and I think it can be defended against as well. Because you have to imagine that having that EMP, if you're in nav mode and you only have one other player with you, maybe, or two other players, you guys have to be able to work together well enough to make sure that you bring down the other person's shield. So that's my opinion on it.
No, that's fair. I'm gonna put together a quick poll for chat. We'll do this for a few minutes, and it'll be actually one of our last questions in this section.
And then I'm gonna let's see here. Go ahead, please, with the poll.
Yep, already got it. So the question is, does it feel like the overall marketing tactics can be a bit predatory, whether it be FOMO or power creep? I should have left indifferent on there as well, but we're going to put it as yes and no. If you don't have any feedback on that, just write something in chat. That's kind of an oversight on my part. Even with the depth of a spaceman having tier 3 beds that can reprint you a clone, but cannot heal a compound fracture makes no sense. Agreed. I agree. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. So who was it that said that?
That was Bearded Blink.
Oh, okay. He might. Maybe he was the one that had said that before in my stream as well. Oh yeah. I was reviewing the Star Citizen, Inside Star Citizen, and he was saying that, and it's a really good point because it can print up a whole damn human body, but it can't print up it can't fix up the bones or whatever. You know, it doesn't make any sense.
It does seem pretty backwards, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a video game, so I suppose, or tech demo. I don't know.
In the like short term, if they're just changing it for the sake of like bugs and trying to like overcome those, yeah, it's going to affect gameplay. I understand it's a placeholder. That's half of the game. But the fact is,
it's a placeholder for the game.
It is. But the fact is, things are going to like wax and wane change. But the question is, again, how much is it, affected like by marketing? How much of it is, just people making weird choices in the like higher up management? I don't know. We're not trying to like place blame on a certain department in CIG. We're just trying to have that conversation because it feels like there's a lot of coincidental, happenings right now
that work in there to their advantage, to their benefit.
Yeah, I can increase my volume. That's on my end. I know why.
Oh, is he quiet for you guys?
Sorry about that. That might be it's my preamp has had a lot of issues with the gain, so the tubes have been like slowly degrading. I just replaced it, but I didn't bias it properly, so it has like some grounding issues. So I have to fix that after stream tonight.
Damn tube.
Only
well,
14% of the systems are done with
Yeah, I threw you
SC, and they're all placeholders. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
let's see.
we understand that. It's like, you know, my biggest struggle I'm having is it's like
With
everything
tubes, yeah,
about the
fancy.
game I do like quite a bit now, right? But it's like you're stuck waiting for it to all work properly.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest struggle. It's like I
That's
want
always my complaint
a
as well.
a stable functioning game. Yeah.
I just not even stable. I want a stable, balanced game. That's all I really want. If I had like balanced, fights, I know it's going to take a while because they have such. We've talked about this with like ship rules and how it's all over the place. It's not even a rock paper scissors kind of situation. It's just all over the place. So, yeah. I feel like a wallet and not a player. I think that's a good way to put it. So 5
Like a wall.
said it feels kind of predatory. If you guys have like any feedback on that, you might have missed the poll by all means. And just a reminder, at the end of the stream, we always do the Griefers hotline. And
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
org Discord invite's not working, so just give me a second. I'm gonna copy
G42 should be working.
The G42 should be working. Okay, cool. Give me a second. But we do take live callers at the end. So if you guys are like, you have something you want to say, we'll give you about like 5-7 minutes to just kind of ask a question, and we can discuss it, among ourselves. And here, 1 second.
There you go. So for Discord, yeah, there you go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, sorry, a little ADHD there for a second. So we kind of, I think we're kind of thinking the same on that last question on the first part. Does it feel like the overall marketing tactics can be a bit predatory, whether it be FOMO or power creep? And it's hit or miss, yes, but I personally, I'm not a fan of it. It's the one thing with CIG that I'm kind of a little cautious with.
Well,
on
okay.
occasion.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
okay, and oh my god.
But I know
you
I know
what,
they
this
have
is
to make
off-topic
money.
Topic. I won't. Yeah, I understand.
They have to make
was gonna
money.
go
I
off
understand
topic.
they need funding, but how can we balance that a little bit better? Is maybe where I'm trying to get at with this.
Well, it's
'Cause
just I guess my
yeah.
thing is my question is, are they being disingenuous about it? Are they like, oh, oops, you know what I mean? Like, is that what's happening? And I'm not gonna sit here and say is what's happening, right? But is it like, oops,
Yeah.
oh, there's a mistake, but it helped our sales, right? Or
The Drake Ironclad question that hasn't been answered, unless it has been answered recently, is does the top door on the Assault version open up? I don't think I've seen a solid answer from that yet. So
that's
I
a
think
good question.
they do leave saying some things unintentionally answered, so you buy it anyways, because otherwise I don't think people would pick it up. I don't know. Personal opinion. That's all it is. I'm not speaking like facts and acting like I know everything. But it's just like a food for thought,
I don't care. I don't care
is there
about having.
one,
Oh, go ahead, please.
that in the SE community that's super vocal about CIG Pledge Store and game dev. Do they comment on it or just ignore it? As a new player, it's hard to see them add when the servers are so unstable.
There are people are
It
very
is tough.
vocal. No, people are
People
vocal.
are very vocal. Yep, they are. Yes.
Yeah, it's
On
not.
Spectrum.
Nobody's just like hush hush about it. I don't know. I know I can't speak. I can't speak in regards to like the larger streamers, I suppose, like all of them. But I've definitely seen some rather big streamers for the SC community at least be vocal about it, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we're all saying what's on our mind as far as like. Yeah, they keep adding, right? And the biggest problem.
The idea isn't just to like talk shit about CIG. By no means. I think we just need to have a transparent conversation about it, because some of these things are very questionable. That's personal opinion. Does CIG comment on it? Not very often.
They
Not
do
very
sometimes,
often.
though.
They do, but it's always like vague speak from what I've seen.
Yeah. I mean, it's, they got this. Okay. If you're a development team as part of a company, and you can only say so much, right? So sometimes is that like cryptic speech or giving you an answer without actually saying anything at all.
Kind of
you get
like,
things like that.
Do you remember when we were trying to have that discussion about excessive griefing? Xylo popped into chat for a little bit, talked about it, but they couldn't make an official statement on Spectrum
Exactly.
because
Exactly.
they have higher ups, and it is a company, 100%.
And they responded without responding.
Pretty
Basically,
much, yeah.
right? He
Yeah.
was responding to questions and stuff like that, but it was like, and on the Spectrum post itself, he gave a response, but also just left it wide open, and it didn't give us a whole lot of information. So
There's
yeah,
a lot of
those things do
interpretation
happen.
that could be done there.
And I mean, I agree with you, and I bet you everybody in this chat agrees with you as well. It's like, I understand this is a alpha and all this stuff. People are like, it's just an alpha, but they package it and they sell it like a game. Yeah. Well, think about it. So when I go on YouTube, I get an ad for the game saying now playable, right? So it's being packaged like a
I got
game.
that during 318 too, and that didn't mean a lot. You were just
but it's being packaged like a game, so you can't just use the whole "it's an alpha" excuse, because it's being packaged and sold as if it's a playable game, right? So
that's what feels disingenuous,
Yeah. So why not?
That's the issue.
So that's what my problem too, right? Ship sales and all this, but where's the stability, right? And it's always the can's always kind of getting kicked down the road and saying the stability's coming. Don't worry, we just need to get this done, right? So now we're at the point where part of this issue with stability is we don't have server meshing. With server meshing is supposed to bring more stability.
Soon.
TM.
I think they are getting there. I think they are actually getting there.
I do actually have faith in meshing. I really do. I think it's actually going to make a big difference. Don't ask me why. Maybe I haven't been around long enough, but I think server meshing will make a difference. I think it's going to be a positive change once it's working properly. Just to throw that
this
on.
For your ship is actually going towards the creation and marketing of Squadron 42 till it's released. That is true. So here's one question that I got from. I want to highlight this one. Bearded Blink said, "Ship sales seem right now are a predatory marketing that takes place in a confused game space. It's the uncertainty that makes it possible. The real question is, does CIG have a plan for ramping out of that dependency for funds?" That would be a CIJ question, but my guess is if it's effective, why would they stop? I don't know.
That's the thing I always wonder about, because it's bringing in a lot of money, and
it is. Yep.
If this game ever went to full release, I'm assuming you'd have to stop doing the pledging system, right? Are they going to continue with some sort of...
I would personally be okay with like a subscription service.
So apparently DCS sells each plane as an individual
like
plane.
DLC. It's DLC. Yep. That's how
so
they do it.
Would they
and
continue doing that? I mean, I'd be okay with that.
Maybe
as
with
long
like
as you can
new
buy
releases
too.
Yeah, as long as you have both options, I don't care.
Yeah,
that would be the way to do it.
I mean, I do kind of like that. It's like you got this hangar system. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, even the whole system where you can't buy certain ships that are initially released in game, 6 or 7 months or a couple of patches after the fact, right? And that's to promote ship sales. That doesn't bother me too much, though. It's just the idea behind it just kind of raises a few questions.
So I'm sorry, Stiletto. So I hope that if they continue ship sales, they continue allowing you to also buy them in game. Now, here's the thing. What would be if there's not going to be any wipes when the game goes full release, what would be the point of selling them with real cash if you can buy them in game anyway and keep it for good?
I would just increase the bottom line ships and only have like a certain amount of starter ships available. That's what I would do. The starter ships that they currently have, like the Cutlass Black and a few other ones, that's what I would do. Game package. Keep it, at that. If they have a product that is
LTI
promising enough that people want to play it, I think it'll bring in enough people to fund it properly. That's personally my opinion.
Planes in DCFs are 14-ish for low, 5 planes, 60 to 70 for high-fi. The planes have more interactables than the top 15 to 20 ships used in SC currently. Okay, I don't know a lot about it.
It's very in depth over there. DCS
that was my best example, though.
Controls.
Yeah. But I just I can't imagine that CIG will want to drop the model that they have now because it's working financially.
Yeah.
You
Second
know.
question. Are you ready for this one? Topic number 2. This is what we're going to ask for a second question. Does it seem like CIG hasn't compared ships that they have already developed with concept in newer ship sales? Does it feel, this is one that Itachi actually brought up, where is there like some kind of disconnect between the concept ships that they're currently making and the existing ones in game, where the ones that they're currently creating and producing, why is it so imbalanced from what they previously had? Maybe that's a question. Is that make more sense?
So my understanding is to say, are they creating ships that are out of tune with what? So in other words, it won't be a balance when the ship gets released. Are they not considering what's already out there
Yeah,
when releasing these new ships? Is that
exactly. I
if
think
I'm
that's what he was
understanding
saying,
correctly?
because we were talking about the Firebird at the time and how they increased the missiles capacity and everything else. He was like, it sounds like they're trying to create like a direct competitor with the Shrike, which is fine, but why wasn't that the original thought when they released it? I think honestly what did happen was the ship sales weren't doing as well as they were hoping, so they
Yeah,
increased the capacity
they try
just
to
because
make
of
it
that reason.
more, yeah,
More appealing.
interesting. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
Uh,
we do have expat in waiting room. Oh, that's awesome.
oh, okay. All right, so expat's going to be one of our first callers. Good to know. So the first question that kind of ties with that is, it kind of does feel like that, like there is a disconnect between some of the concept teams developing and the existing developing teams. I don't know where that miscommunication happens, but it's curious,
Well, that goes with, I think that goes with the fact that they have different departments, and it's for anybody in
They do.
here,
Yeah.
probably a lot of us have that have worked in any corporate type environment or for any company, right? It's even with a large amount of emails and communication, there's still some sort of disconnect between departments, right? I think that's almost natural. So that might be part of what's happening is there's somewhat of a disconnect
Hmm.
or market, or there could be like, and I'm just spitballing, I don't really know, but there
Yeah,
could
of
be
course,
like
100%.
marketing saying, hey, we need this many sales and this is what we need to do to make those sales, right? With this is what we're being told to do to try to get sales, whatever. And then they're saying, so this is what we want to release to make sales, or this is what we're looking for. And then another team is like, okay, let's put it together. I don't know, I'm just throwing something out there, right?
Yeah,
It could
yeah,
be
I know
something
what you
like
mean.
that. It could be something crazy like that.
Hey, I'm a Tarkov main, new to Star Citizen, and came over watching Summit playing. As did many, we struggle with similar dev community relations. I know what you're talking about. Let's get the Unheard edition. Yeah, $250. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. There's a lot of mistrust over there because of that. Star Citizen is an amazing project. It just it's just very difficult as a new player to work around bugs and fight stability. Hope they can eliminate crashes for the health of the player base. Very clear, separate dev teams within SC, no common goal. I pretty much, you answered what I was thinking exactly there.
So what's the question?
So no, that's not even a question. It's not even a
No,
question.
it's
I thought
a,
I thought it was interesting. Thanks for stopping by the way. Appreciate that. Yeah. The Ironclad did single-handedly save their quarter. Didn't they at one point promise that there were no more concept ships? I thought they were done with that.
I don't know. Because if I'm gonna be
I remember
honest,
a while ago that
um,
they were just saying, yeah, we're done with concept.
thank you,
Shankers, thanks for
Shankers.
the gifted sub, by the way, bud.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know because I'm not one of those guys that, in fact, Shankers would know more. I'm not one of those guys that
Maybe.
spends a lot of money on ships. I
How
do.
many?
I
How
think
many?
I've spent like $600 now, which is more than I've ever spent on any game. Go ahead, please.
No, I was gonna ask, how many of the like large destroyers do you have currently? I forget
Oh,
what it's
him.
even called.
Yeah, Shankers is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
he is single-handedly funding that project.
He
That's
is.
working on five.
Yeah, Shankers
What
is
a
the
fucking
reason why it
hero.
still exists. For working
It's
on
true. It's true.
5 javelins.
Last
It's
here. Okay, so
insane.
last 2 years they've only added to the backlog of ships. Ironclad raked in big money. CCU app funding, app shows. That is interesting. So it just kind of makes you wonder, like, how many of these like campaign promises that they put together with their marketing, how consistent are they going to keep being? How consistent are they going to keep the vision? If they're like, we were talking about this with expat, how we're trying to appeal for like more casual audiences, stuff like that. It just feels like it's so flexible as long as it makes money. That's my concern with all of this, you know.
Hmm.
So
Do you
that's
want
what I
to?
was trying to say.
Do you want to pull expat in? I'm curious.
We should. I love expat. She's great.
All right, let's
Give
do
me
it.
1 second.
Can you
Hey,
hear me?
expat, nice to see you.
Listen to the difference of demeanor. I was like, can you hear me? You can tell I'm from the East Coast.
Forget about
Technical,
it.
you got
Technical.
it.
Okay, no problem. So I'm going to bring up the third question. How could CIG push ship sales without relying on power creep and changes that significantly impact gameplay? This also goes into the same like vein of how do we do this without it being like, are they going to change your, sales model? Because it is effective. It's doing what it's supposed to, right?
So, okay, so this is making an assumption that power creep is the reason why ship sales is so good. Is that
Yeah,
is
yeah,
that
of
what's
course.
happening basically?
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily agree with that. I
Hello,
think
hello.
power.
There we go.
Hey, there she is.
There
Nice
we
to
go.
see you.
Sorry, I had a small technical on my side. Apologies for
No worries. All good. All good.
messing up your flow.
No, you
Oh, we have
good.
no flow.
Yeah, no flow,
So,
basically.
guys, I just want to say I'm a big fan of the podcast.
I
I'm
appreciate
very
I'm a
that.
much
big fan of
enjoying
you
the
too.
Conversation.
Elder always tells me that the reason why he likes roleplay is because he used to watch you. So
She's just doing stuff. I'm a nerd, whatever. She's just doing stuff that I thought was cool.
So,
he's blushing.
so we're talking about the marketing and the ships and the concepts, right?
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, let's be 100% real with everybody who's getting into Star Citizen and is going to be pledging, and that is that we are currently pledging for a 2-game system where there's going to be the PU, which is the multiplayer component of Squadron 42. We don't know how much money has been used and how much more money needs to be used for Squadron 42 to come out. We don't know how much of the Squadron 42 development has been done and how much of that is going to contribute to the PU in the future when Squadron does release. Do they have a lot of stuff that's locked behind closed doors that we can't see yet? Remember how we are in the journey of game development with them.
Yep.
Oh, Kitty
but
just said
somehow
60%.
it
wonder if
it
that's
somehow
real.
feels like the Inside Star Citizens now are more like selling us stuff than they are telling us the in-depth of the game at this point. It's more of they're building up suspense and intrigue and
It
vagueness
is. It's
for
a
the
marketing
fact
tool.
that it's a marketing tool. It is indeed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I think it causes a lot of confusion when a lot of these things that we're subscribing to the Inside Star Citizen thing, but some of these videos just feel like they're selling us concept chips, right? And in fact,
Mhm.
the Ironclad, for example, was a recent Inside Star Citizen, and there was not a like a clear vision on like, okay, does that roof open on that ship?
Yep.
Mm,
Arguably, if the roof doesn't open, then a lot of people are buying the other one.
You're
yeah.
gonna get the Liberator instead.
Do they
Yeah.
at that
keep it
point, too.
vague on purpose, to make sure, the missiles on the Firebird, it was at what, 12? And it clearly didn't sell well. And then next thing you know, it's getting a buff. It's getting the buff treatment. It's going to
Yeah.
have
Yep.
24 missiles now, guys. I know you
Well, it
doubted
definitely
us.
wasn't
I know you don't
based
like
on
missiles.
balance,
Oh, this
right?
is-
They didn't determine
No.
that, it needs more based on balance, right?
Mhm.
So it's probably
Yeah.
I
based
think it
on
was
sales.
community
And so-
feedback at that point, right?
So I think the issue that we have here is that basically they are trying to maintain and sell a live service experience that is ultimately supposed to be a testing environment for this eventual game that we're getting, right? But it
Mm.
feels less and less like a testing environment now, and it becomes more and more like we need to keep these servers on and this game working for people that just want to play it how it is today. And I tell
Yeah.
people on a daily basis, people come into my chat all the time and say, should I invest in Star Citizen? Should I get involved now? Is now a good time? And I say, just look at how it is today. If you see $40 of entertainment in what you see today,
Yeah.
then get into it, right?
It's a good way to
But
put
understand very clearly that the money that you're putting in today might not necessarily help for the game in the future. That money might get spent. That ship
Yeah.
that you're buying, that Javelin, that all those ships, if the funding model runs out, they might not get to the point where you can actually technically even spawn your Javelin. Javelin might not have even been built by then.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I
the
mean?
other thing. I mean, that's true. That's a good point, because one of the things the game depends on is selling ships that depend on a technology that didn't exist yet, right? And now
Yeah.
that right, and that's server meshing, because they can't have that many people in one
that
area.
takes time.
Yeah.
That takes time, and that company
Yeah.
needs to be open for a length of time to achieve those goals. And they're likely to scale back if the ship sales don't continue and the money starts to dry up a bit. They're going to lose that time that they need to eventually get to the ships that they've been selling for years.
Yeah.
You know, for years they've been getting those $1,000, $2,000 ships in there. And I don't want to panic anybody. I hope, and I think it's likely, that they will change up whatever funding mechanic is required to get to those ships. But it is a pledge. It is a pledge. It's not a promise to get those ships. The ship is there, dangled in front of you for 2,000. If they make that ship, you will get it. If the technology is there to spawn that ship, you will get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's a pledge. You're pledging
and you're
to
buying it with the assumption that you're going
ultimate-
to get it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
you're pledging with the ultimate goal in mind, and that is to release Squadron. When Squadron is released, we don't know if that's going to include a separate funding model or if it's still going to be all intertwined. You know, how successful Squadron is may determine the future of Star Citizen. We're not sure. When you go to the website right now, all you see is the PU. All you see is the multiplayer. When you go on Twitch, when you go on YouTube, all the videos, mostly all you see is the multiplayer component.
Yeah.
So when people are getting into Star Citizen right now, they're pretty much just funding the multiplayer component. They don't understand that you've got Squadron 42 in the background. There's a lot of people that don't care about it, and there's a lot of people that are just in it for it, right?
Yep.
And none of that is clear. And I think that is, I don't want to say it in a malicious way, but the vagueness definitely helps. With how are we going to get the Hornet Mark 1 in future? We don't know. None of us know. You don't know. Elder doesn't know. Elder knows everything. He doesn't know. Deadflag knows everything. He doesn't know. So, who knows, right? Again, this vague dangling of a who, what, where, why, when that nobody can answer. So what do? You buy it today, right? Before it's too late. Get it now.
Yep.
We're taking it away. There's no reason to take that out of the game at all. There's no reason. It's not gold standard yet. It's not finished. The game isn't finished. Why can't you buy this thing in game? There's no excuse. The only reason is for speculation of the game, speculators to buy these in bulk, put them in their buybacks, have more store credit to buy the next thing. And the grey market goes wild. Everyone starts cheering. Yes, they made this thing rare again. So yeah. And the thing is, I put this up on X as a tweet, and I said, you know, this is the biggest FOMO marketing I've seen. I'm very disappointed. All this kind of stuff. People were responding in the comments. No, this is a great thing. It makes the ship even more rare. It makes it more, you know. And I said, rare for who?
Would you
Who is
mind
it
if I bring
rare
up
for?
that post? Would that be okay if I like bring up
Yeah,
your,
sure.
your Twitter? We can take a look at that. Just give me 1 second.
right,
When was
let me
that
know.
posted? I'm more or less curious.
Oh, it was a while back. I mean, you'll have
While
to
back,
scroll
okay.
through loads of
Yep.
screenshots of me being fabulous.
Me being
Okay, but-
fabulous.
Oh my God! Server error inside the Idris captain's bathroom. What the?
Yeah, I got in the captain's thing of the
That's
Idris.
great. Mm-hmm.
It is interesting
Somebody
too.
pushed me
I'm
in.
just curious about the pledge aspect, because you, like you said, you're pledging in exchange, right? They're basically saying, here's what we're offering for your pledge. To
think
say
about it.
it's like it's almost as if it's a promise that, hey, you'll end up with this, but
Mhm.
it's a pledge to the game, right? For the game development. But it's not
It's a
necessarily.
pledge
It's not.
for the it's a pledge for the company, right?
Yeah. So it's not necessarily you
You've got
purchasing
to,
anything.
you're backing the company, right? Because
Yep.
the company can choose. The thing is that they've got control over, especially when you buy concept, right? We know how this goes. You buy concept, they promise a bunch of stuff about the concept. The concept eventually gets created. And by the way, all of these ships up until now, and I've said it a billion times in the past, they're all being created for the live service experience that we have today. They're
Yeah.
getting balanced for the live
That's
service we
true.
have today.
Yeah.
But we don't know about engineering. We don't know about flight model. We don't know how the networking's going to be, really. We don't know what the ultimate gameplay is going to be. We don't know how much anything is going to cost. We don't know the price of the currency. We don't know what things are going to make these ships and if you're going to be able to farm them and ultimately build the ships yourself. We don't know. You know, imagine that we don't know what the game actually is, and yet we're dreaming up this idea of owning a ship in that game, right?
Yep.
It's a theoretical game that we have ideas about what it's going to be based on what they've said in the past, but they said other stuff in the past,
But
right?
yeah,
The
yeah.
F8,
To be
the
fair,
F8 went on sale.
the game has changed, definitely changed on
It's
what they
changing
originally
all the
said it was
time.
going to be. Yeah, and it continues. It could be a totally different game. I was talking about this earlier too. I think with Doomed, I was saying how it feels like Star Citizen is going from a type of idea or game where it's tough and it's going to be difficult for you can't just jump into it, to them wanting to take more of a hand holding type approach. I'm not saying it's getting that dramatic, but it does feel in some ways that that's a direction that they might be heading to try to appeal to more people. But like you said, right, the game is continuously changing, and if you look at the initial intention of the game was you weren't going to be able to fly in the atmosphere and land onto any point in the planet, right? Originally they were going to have it where there was like a cutscene type situation, if I understand correctly, right? I mean,
Yep.
It just goes to show you it's a different game from what they originally intended it to begin with,
and
right?
to be honest, I think the game changing has potentially made it a better game. I mean, essentially we're getting Squadron version 2.0 before
Mhm,
Squadron's even released.
Mhm.
But that had to happen, right? That had to happen because, you know, time has moved on. And again, they're constantly battling with this idea of time. How long is it going to take to get these things implemented, to get the technology implemented, for our systems and networking and everything to be strong enough and big enough to be able to run something like this? And so when you're looking at like a Javelin or a you know, any of these other, you know, very large scale ships, you have to take that into consideration. And I mean, just little things like the F-7A you were talking about earlier, and it being like overjuiced when it comes out, you know, a malicious
Yeah.
thing for selling, etc. You know, of course that's potentially the case, you know, tinfoil hat, potentially the case. The other thing is like maybe that's how it was going to be for like what the future gameplay is, but they realized, well, we've got it out now, right? And it's not going to work
Yeah.
like this. Maybe when the new flight model comes in and the different atmospheric stuff, you're going to need those that extra thruster power and everything. You know what I mean? So maybe the designers were making it for later, and they said, no, we're going to sell it now because we need something. We don't have this ship ready.
Yeah.
We don't have this ship ready.
And I would be
We've
suspicious
got the
that's what's
F-7A.
happening. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we've juiced it for Squadron. This is how it's going to play in Squadron, and we're just gonna copy paste it over to the PU. But then we realize, oh wait, the PU is this living, breathing thing now that people
Mhm.
expect to play like a real video game.
And
And they
greatly
expect to
affected
play it like a
everything.
real video game, and that
Mhm.
works for us because we can sell ships based on
Yep.
that living, breathing video game.
Yeah.
So it gets very tricky for them because the more and more of these ships that they keep releasing, keep concepting, and keep promising, the more of a situation they get where they're getting the money up front for stuff that they haven't built.
Yeah.
And I feel with so many things so close to being, let's imagine that 2 years is close. I mean, what we were 12 years, 10 years. Let's say that 2 years is close now. Maybe we should relax a little bit on releasing all this stuff until we get engineering, until we
Yep.
get the flight model, until we get the networking. And, you know, if it's that close, can you hold on funding wise to just develop the technology and the ships the way that they should be for all that stuff coming later? Because currently they're just putting more and more stuff in the game that they're going to have to redo and redo and redo and redo.
It's
And
just
that's
creating
going to
more and
take more
more
time.
work.
And more
Yeah.
time's going to
Mhm.
take more money. And
Endless
where's
projects.
that money coming from? More ships, more selling, more scarcity, more FOMO. You know what I mean? It's a cycle.
So not to cut off, but Scarred Citizen had a question. How can Squadron 42 be feature complete if the main flight system isn't even close to being done? That wouldn't be considered a feature though, would it? If I understand
There's a good chance that
correctly.
we don't have to worry too much about the flight model in Squadron 42 because you're not competing against other players. It's
Yeah,
less of
that's
concern
true.
if it's like an OP player. Like an OP ship can be an OP ship, and it's not going to affect other players and make people like annoyed and upset. You know?
Yeah,
That, like,
I
one
mean,
is
it might just make the game a
unbalanced.
little easier for you potentially, right? Let's say you had the F7A bug, and that's the ship you're using for some reason. I don't know anything about how they have Squadron 42 set up, but let's say that was a situation, and now it makes the mission maybe a little bit easier. But I don't know if that's considered a feature though, is it? I mean, what?
You have to imagine that Squadron 42 is a game in a bubble, right? It's a start to finish experience that is tailor made for those specific levels, those specific enemies you're coming across, those specific missions that they've created. Okay, it's in a bubble. What you might end up happening by the end of master modes being played by us and us experiencing the problems and the changes, etc. What might end up happening is that the PU gets a much superior flight model and they stick with the one that's in Squadron, right? That we probably got to play initially. And that's just how it is. You go into Squadron, it's a rough idea, like nav mode and this and that, and rough targeting, etc. But maybe it changes for us.
I can't help but feel that Chris Roberts would not bode well with him. I can't help but feel like he would want it to be identical or whatever.
Unified.
I mean, you know, so I agree. Although I do agree with you, at the same time, I feel like there's a bit of OCD on his part that would not allow for that to happen.
Micromanagement.
Well, then that's more time.
Yeah, and
time
that's
and
my
that's more money.
concern, right? We're always the goalpost is always moving because of the fact that it's like, oh, it would be great if you could kick a can, you know, off a cliff and it fell and it stayed there forever and ever and ever, you know, and it's like, wow, that'd be amazing.
And it would be great. And it would be great. And that's why I would not like that attitude of kind of quick fixing, quick throwing it in, quick solutions to the PU, because the persistent universe has the potential to last forever, right?
Yeah.
In some form, right? Even if in the future we have home computers and online services that become cheap enough that we can run our own instances of Star Citizen if needed, you know? For now, that would obviously be impossible, likely, you know, without a lot of money. But, you know, that's the thing, is that the PU has to be this ever-evolving thing that stays with the times in a way, and is this entertaining experience that keeps people engaged. If it is, like you said, Dead Frag, people will buy the basic stuff, get into it. If there's gameplay to keep them there, if there's gameplay for them to stick around, they will go towards that, be encouraged to play. Look at EVE Online. EVE Online's been going for years and years.
I heard it's
evolved,
like close to like 20
it's
years or
changed, it's
something.
added.
It has, yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
No, didn't
that's
Elite Dangerous
got
just
longevity.
recently get some like changes as well? Like they're adding some new stuff, and I know that they're as a studio they've struggled though. Like
The
trying
Elite
to stay
Dangerous
open
has
because
made a
they're-
lot of really bad mistakes, and it was
They
by
have, yeah.
making promises, going back on them, and really just.
Mhm.
In fact, I came over as a result of that with Elite Dangerous. It was like so. Yeah,
Commander
I mean,
Elder.
Yeah, I was Commander Elder Relic. That was me. Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
for a fact. I almost came over here as a commander.
The struggle that Eve, the struggle that Star Citizen
Yep.
has at this point, as I alluded to earlier, is that, and it's the reason why we have war bonds, and it's the reason why we still have, speculative sales, the reason why we still have FOMO, especially even imagine FOMO. Imagine you didn't have enough ships to sell to make the numbers work, that you had to FOMO a ship that has been in the game since the beginning, right? That isn't even
Yep.
complete, that didn't even get a gold standard, and you're
Yeah.
removing it and making people, the Mark 1. Like, if it's a Mark 1 Hornet, is it going to be a Mark 2 something else? Mark 2 Connie, Mark 2 C2, anyway, that's
a question I was going to ask
other-
earlier too.
that's
Speaking
a
of which,
whole
can
other.
can we bring up your post about that? That'd be cool. We'll do
Did
a
you
media
find
share.
it?
We can keep talking.
Yeah,
I did.
sure.
Yeah.
Wow, all right. I'll
So I
pull
think
it
it's
up right
this
now.
one. Enhance. Right about here.
you
Enhance.
did that one good.
That should be good right there.
Yeah.
Like we can kind of see what's going on. So I stopped the stream. This is the most heinous example of FOMO marketing I've been able to witness. And it kind of explains like your personal thoughts. And honestly, I don't disagree at all. I'm 100% with you. When I saw this, I was just like, this is kind of disgusting. In CAG, we can do better. I should have liked this. So here comes, why is it FOMO? I think it's good to have ships that will become rare. Nothing special. This is probably the one you were talking about. I hope it's as rare as the Saber Raven. Now, when it comes to Cross One, I have to compliment its owner. A rare beauty indeed.
And
Sorry,
Yeah,
I thought that was a little bit more appropriate.
My
Yeah,
response
see what
was,
you said.
why should any of this be rare, though? What does it being, quote unquote, rare do to help the project as we go into the future?
It doesn't.
Right?
It
And
doesn't
then-
help
and then-
at all.
It doesn't help at all. No.
No, it really doesn't. You're right.
And then again,
So
there
it's
was
like missing the
replies,
point.
and then et cetera, et cetera. So, but I ended up in these little chat PvP moments with some people, and I was just ultimately a
Yeah.
little bit frustrated by it, because do you not see it? Why
But-
don't you see it?
I just
this
as
isn't
resp-
FOMO.
This is.
This is the
But
pure
his
fucking
response-
definition of FOMO, friend. What
That
the hell are
angry
you
PC
talking
tech,
about?
huh?
I'm sorry.
That
I'm not
angry
like
PC
trying
tech.
to like
I
attack
know,
anybody.
I know. This
But
isn't FOMO.
just like this
But no, that
doesn't make
response
any
to
sense.
her,
It doesn't make any sense. I'm just
jump
saying.
jump up for me. Go to
Jump up to
his
what? Which
response
one?
to her. His response right up.
It's
up,
not
up, up.
FOMO.
No.
what?
It's so she responded to him saying, "Why should it be, or who does it help?" Right? In my
Oh,
opinion,
so
it gives the ships more value and meaning, like in real life, coming across. But it's not how. She's right. It's not helping the project, because
No.
if it's rare, then they can only sell so much. So it's not pledging or helping support the project. So what is the purpose of that? I don't know.
Yeah,
Right,
it ends up just going onto the gray market, and somebody else is going to make
makes
their
money
cut,
off
you know?
it. Yeah.
Mhm.
If you want to increase the value of it, just increase the price in the store.
Yeah,
if you want
exactly.
to tell people, listen,
Mhm.
the price is going to go up on this, we're going to raise the price, people will buy it. It's kind of FOMO, but at the same time, at least the money goes back into the game. Some people were saying like, oh, we're happy to see this because finally Star Citizen is taking something out of the store instead of putting something into it.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but you understand the reason behind it. It's not like, hey guys, I think we should stop selling ships for a little bit because
It's a short-term solution to being low
it's
on
a short-term
funds
solution
Yep.
to just pump up the profits. Okay.
for the
And
quarter.
people
Yeah.
were saying, yeah, but it's they're still going to work on it. You didn't read this. They're still going to work on it. It's like, dude, I read all of it. I understand all of it. They're
Make this
removing
fun.
it in the game. And but there's going to be new ways of doing it. There's going to be new ways of getting it. I was like, what does that mean, dude? You know?
Yeah. I gotta say, like, I know that you're a sponsored content creator by CAG, right? I really
Yeah.
value that you speak your opinion, even though you are like partnered up with them. I think it's valuable that we have people like you in the community for that exactly. So thank you very much for that. You know, that's all
Look,
I want to say.
it's there. Look, it's there. At the end of the day, you know,
Mhm.
the game looks good on my stream. It is what it is. You know,
Yeah.
I have a laugh. I
Yeah.
play the game that we have now. I give people the whole spiel about, you know, play the game as it is now, and you know, it might not be the game you love in the future. We might be having the best time ever right now because
Yeah.
so much of these things are open to interpretation. They're not locked in. The the PvP side of things, for example, there isn't much, you know, in the way of consequence, which for some
No.
people they don't find fun, but for other people, you
Nope.
know, they can just run around in there. Like, you know, I got a couple hours after work. I'm just going to come in. I'm just going to shoot a C2, you know, and run away and have a good time. So
Full cannons though. Full cannons.
for now, there's a lack of, you know, you don't have to be like super dedicated to your, you know, so you don't have to be super dedicated to the game and worry about your account and worry about your character for now. So you can go in and have a bit of a laugh with
Yeah.
friends, which is what you should do.
Yep.
For all the people that are waiting for Star Citizen to get released before they start playing it, I mean, guys,
They're gonna be
just
waiting.
whatever you've got in your hangar, get in there and play it while it's here, guys. Play it while it's here because we just don't know.
They're gonna be waiting for a while.
Retaliator.
I was gonna
the
say you could just
Retaliator
touch grass for
people.
the next 10 years and you'll be good.
And like
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
heard these theories where because of where they moved the studio, there's like a legal requirement for like having a finished product that can be sold or something. I don't know how true that is, but I can't help but feel it's gonna be a while. It's gonna be a while. Either way,
They
you
can
know.
change anything, anytime. There's no limits to that, right? I mean,
Mhm.
apart from how people react. The fact
Yep.
is, and the worrying thing for me, and I'm not gonna say Ponzi or any of this stuff, right?
Mhm.
Because we just don't know. We don't know where
Yeah,
the
of
money
course not.
goes exactly, right? But the fact is that the reason why there's something called a war bond is because all the guys that have put the money in already, they don't need us, right? They need
Nope.
the fresh money.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
they
that's
need
the
you
point of like free
who
flight and
have
stuff.
already put money in to continue to put money in.
Yeah.
Okay? Because they need more
They need
time.
investment
They
Yeah.
need more
as
time.
well, you know.
Yeah. They've been
right?
needing time for a long time.
So that's the only thing to just understand that, like, all the guys that are buying the new starter ships at $40, all the new sales that go out on the store, all the new ships that they put on that are, like, you know, interesting and fascinating, that is also one day somebody who bought a Kraken, you know, 10 years ago or 5 years ago can get their Kraken, right? Their Kraken money is gone, right? Up to now, right?
Yeah,
We
I
have
mean,
what we have now because of the Kraken money.
Yeah, I mean, what are they going to put into the game first? They're going to put in the thing that's already made its money, or they're going to put in the thing that potentially can make more money, right?
Yeah.
Also, if you think about it,
That's why we
you-
get all these little ships.
Yeah.
That's why we get all these little starters. That's why we get all these hover
Yep.
bikes. That's why we get these vehicles. They're quick.
Mhm.
They're quick. They're easy. Get them in the store. Get a few extra bucks in there. You know.
yeah, yeah.
They need to be doubling down on the whole paints and cosmetics side of things. At the end of the day, it funds Fortnite. It doesn't hurt anybody at the moment.
Cosmetics
But I
are
mean,
where it's
let's
at,
be
yeah.
real. When the game is released, if the game is released, right? When the game is released,
Yeah.
imagine somebody has a full set, like 20, 30, 40 armors, 50, 60, 70 guns, you know, they've got all the shit, you know what I mean? At that point, I hope you played in the PU, because what do you have to play for? They're going to have so much of this stuff locked down before, and well before the game comes out, to try and wean people off this.
Yeah.
And if, you know, because you're just not going to have a game at the end of it. You're just going to have people with, you know, huge hangars full of stuff and nothing to play for.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I'm sorry not to cut you off, but like speaking on that, that's like saying like a lack of content, right? They just got a bunch of stuff, but it doesn't. And it seems like sometimes CIG is conflating the two, right? Content is the amount of stuff
Yep.
that you have, like and like Pyro. Sure, Pyro can come out, but we could end up flying around Pyro the same exact way we are in Stanton and not really having any content for the game and not having anything to do, right? It's just stuff.
Yeah.
That's
with that being
concerning
said,
to me. I don't know.
we also do need to wrap up the show because we're trying to keep it down to about 90 minutes. But I did want to say,
Oh no,
thank
no
you,
problem. Yeah,
Expat.
I saw Kitty Cartel in the chat, and cheers, mate. I appreciate you.
Give her a timer.
I'll yeah,
Jeez.
yeah, give me a timer. Look,
Settle down.
at the end of the day, it's one of those topics that you know, you can't really just you know, it's complex, right, guys?
Yep,
I'll keep
it is very
I'll keep it
complex.
simple. It's complex.
Yep.
But I hope I was able to add something to it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I appreciate you having you on here. Honestly, it was really nice. Actually, this is Dead's thing. You do your thing there. He's
Do my thing.
he's the radio voice.
Again, guys, go check out Expat. Again, thank you, Expat, for coming to hang out. I know, like, as soon as I saw that you're in the Griefer hotline, I was like, this is gonna be good. I'm really excited for this. So thank you very much for your like input and feedback on that. It really does.
See,
kind of help touch
CIG,
base.
please don't kick me out of the program. You know, love the giveaway.
Oh yeah,
No, I mean, like,
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
go ahead, please.
it is
Nope.
it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. Look, I'm always going to be honest. I'm just going to
Mhm.
feel how I feel, say what I say, and you know, I'm just playing Star Citizen like everyone else. And I think the frustration is justified in many circumstances, and
100%.
I think it's for everybody's best interests for us all to know exactly what we're doing with our money and where it's going, and I
Mhm.
think that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to throw a little credit to CIG though, because they do take, I think they take a lot of crap from the community, a lot, and I think they take it in stride. I will say that I think they respond pretty well to it. Maybe because they have
Oh,
to.
I mean, the
don't know.
devs are
Yeah.
great, man.
Yeah.
The devs
Devs
are
are great,
great,
yep.
and the
So I
people
will say
actually,
that.
the people actually making the project. I mean, they seem like incredible people. They really do, and they seem really passionate.
Yeah. 100%.
It's just a consequence of the funding model.
Yeah.
We get angry from time to time. It is what it is.
Sorry, so the wiggle, and I was like, wiggle, wiggle. That's all I saw. So yeah, that's where we'll wrap that up. I think we're gonna close questions as well. So Expat, we'll catch you later. I hope that
See
we
ya.
have you.
Thank you
on
for
the show
stopping
in the
by.
future
Have
as
a good
well.
night.
Thank you again for stopping by.
You too, guys. I love the content, and keep it up. And guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to these guys. They're a voice that you don't hear often, and they need to be heard because it's a big part of the community. All right, take it easy.
Thank you.
See you,
Take care.
I'm also going to say thank you everybody else for joining. Questions closed off. Don't worry about it. You had your chance.
You had your chance.
We we are going to actually go find someone to raid. If you guys have any recommendations for someone that is in the PvP community that we could, you know, send you guys over to, let me know. Because otherwise, I'm
let
going
me
to go
see if
through
I have anyone
my friends
too.
list. I think I saw like a couple people on. It's always Sunday nights. If there's a PvPer that could just consistently stream on like Sunday nights, we'd love to send you guys over to them, or like over to
Yeah.
you. I'm just saying, like if you want to like get a good raid every other Sunday, play PvP. Let me see. Not a lot of people on my end.
No, I think it looks pretty dead tonight. Actually, does anybody have a
Nomadic
suggestion?
Aviator was the first one. We're going to take a look at that. But just a reminder also that we do have an active YouTube and a Spotify. Nomadic Aviator, military pilot. You know what? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Thanks for the suggestion, by the way. Peter Blink. And I'm sorry, one thing at a time. There we go.
Oh, okay. I see him.
So,
Yeah, I see him.
so let's do a shout out. We're going to send you guys over to our friend Nomadic Aviator. And last time we raided in AFK, I checked. Shankers were good this time. We're good.
Was it an AFK or somebody that just was going offline?
I think it was someone that was offline.
Was
They
it
were offline,
Heim?
yeah.
Was it Heim Delight?
It was Heim Delight, yeah. He was already off. He was just like, I saw that you guys raided
I was like,
me.
you
I'm so
didn't
sorry.
refresh? No refresh.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But with that being said, again, here, I'm just going to put out our socials. And just a reminder that later this week, we will have that posted on our YouTube. And I need to get my ass on getting those Spotify episodes posted as well, because I've been a little lazy on that. And again, guys, thank you for hanging out. Go check out.
It's switching. It's switching. You're too late. Oh,
Elder
it switched.